Everyone hear me? Yeah. Perfect. Like that, right? Okay. Afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to see our presentation. So my name is Callum Gardiner. I work for a company called Computer Futures. We specialise in Salesforce recruitment. I head up the permanent side of the business. This is my work wife.
Hi.
Danielle Ahmed. She heads up the contract side of our business. And just to make one thing clear before we go ahead, the olive green uniform was actually very much accidental this morning. We went downstairs, went to breakfast, and I was like, oh no, this is embarrassing. So I don't know why olive green is today's choice, but it is. So look. The reason why we felt that this was quite an important thing to discuss about, really, is that, look, just in brief on this very busy presentation, is that Salesforce have predicted that by 2022, so in another 3 years' time, there are going to be 3.3 million jobs globally, okay? So we work and we live in the second biggest Salesforce ecosystem in the world, obviously UK, woo! In pretty much simple terms, that means that in the next 3 years, there's going to be over 115,000 extra jobs being created because of Salesforce. So it's a massive growth area, even in different parts of the world, but specifically for us, that's what we want to cover today. So the reason for the presentation is, look, in such a growth market, as a candidate, whether you're starting now or if you're already in the midst of it, how are you going to stand out against other candidates in the market? So today, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. We're going to sort of talk through a candidate journey, skills in demand, a pretty hot topic of certifications versus experience, and what is better or isn't better, or is it both? And sort of then going through salary guides as well, touching on your LinkedIn profile, CV, and things like that, and a few little bits in between. So look, there are 3 types of candidates at the moment, all right? This happy chappy, he's not moving anywhere, all right? Or she. I think it's a he there. Look, happy with your role. You don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to speak to a recruitment consultant or even look at other job opportunities. Absolutely fine. I'm very jealous of you. I wish I was in that category sometimes. We then have a passive candidate. So someone who is happy with their job, but for the right role or sort of something a little bit more interesting could move, whether that be salary, a closer location, an interesting project, something like that. And then we've got the active candidate, someone who needs to get out of their role pretty sharpish, okay? Could be facing redundancy, could be management style, a lot of different things. So what we're saying is, look, we're going to give you a couple of hints and tips on when you do begin to look, you're ready for it.
Cool. So the first thing that we kind of think about then is a little bit of self-reflection. So we encourage everyone to do this. And it's really about understanding what you're looking for. But that comes down from understanding, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What are my strengths? Where do I want to go? And create goals. Those goals being like smart work objectives. If you can't get those in your current position, then that's when you're probably going to look at other opportunities. So it's a time to reflect.
Definitely.
Find out your passions and then really outline, right, okay, so if I was to get an opportunity, what boxes has it got to tick?
Yeah, definitely.
In a bit of a nutshell there.
Perfect. So just the difference between perm and contract. Now, we're really not going to teach you how to suck eggs on this, but to be fair, some people don't really know the difference fully. So what I would say is that, so I head up the permanent side, so I'll talk about permanent. So the main motivation on my side when I'm usually speaking to candidates is stability. They want a regular income. They don't want to sort of be guessing in the next sort of 6, 9, 12 months when they're going to get their next role. They just want something that they can sort of invest their time in. That then goes on to progression. And sort of like career goals. When you're in a permanent role, they will invest in you. So training and development, having your certifications, also definitely helps as well. And look, I think I have this. This is why I'm in a permanent role. It's actually the environment. You want to be part of a team. You want to be part of a good culture, and that's something that, personally to me, is probably one of the most important things when I'm looking for a new job, and I have in my current job at the moment.
on the contract slide, it's slightly different. I'd say the biggest thing is the day rates, because obviously you can get paid very well. But with that, it does come a variety of different projects. You get exposure to different clients, so you can go and do something, make a change, and then go to a new industry and really refine your skills in that way. And then it offers flexibility. So some of my contractors might take the summer off and things like that. So that's kind of generally what contractors like. But with that in mind, people can go to both. And people do regularly switch from perm to contract and vice versa.
Especially in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
So myself and Danielle did software development recruitment before, not in Salesforce. And perm to contract or contract to perm doesn't really happen. But in the Salesforce ecosystem, what we found is that when Danielle's speaking to contractors, they are quite open to perm, mainly for the stability side. And on the perm side, going to contract, they're very open and willing. Usually if it's a longer extended contract, that they're quite open to do that as well, if that makes sense.
So trends and acquisitions in the future. So that's all well and good, but we wanted to give you a little bit of advice on how can you make yourself stand out with regards to everything that's going on in the ecosystem at the moment.
There's loads.
Literally. So last year, I think we all went to the World Tour, or the majority of us, and there was a massive emphasis around Marketing Cloud and engaging with customers and your customer journey. I think they highlighted around one of the Adidas success stories. Since then, we've seen an increase in demand from our customers looking at different tools like that. The talent available there's not loads. There's not loads globally, let alone just in the UK. So that means that those people are able to command more salaries, get more interesting projects, and be at the forefront of that. Obviously, a couple of years ago, Lightning came out, and that migration has happened for a lot of companies. Some people still haven't. At that time, the developers who had Lightning experience, again, they were well sought after. Everyone wanted that person. Now, obviously, a lot more people have exposure to that, so it's not as niche anymore. But we always advise people, okay, so think about what's coming next. What is going to be the next Lightning Marketing Cloud? We've got Einstein's coming up. More people are discussing it. But also, let's think about like acquisitions and where is Salesforce going? So with MuleSoft, for instance, obviously, it's no surprise they've bought MuleSoft. I believe it's something like 70% of MuleSoft customers aren't Salesforce customers at the moment. I would expect that over the next 3 to 5 years, because Salesforce are that good at selling, that they'll probably end up selling into those customers, and therefore integrations with MuleSoft will become more sought after, potentially. I obviously can't guarantee that. And then we've got some other things up there like Datarama, which is like an AI tool around marketing and things.
Or market automation.
But it's like thinking about, right, what could be next? What could be the next thing where everyone or companies are going to really invest in, and how can I position myself to learn and acquire those skills so that I can become
more in demand when that product comes up.
And that person in that time.
So just a couple of things, just so it's not random there. So obviously we've seen that blockchain has been sort of part of CPQ and will be part of CPQ moving forward, Salesforce CPQ. And again, obviously a recent acquisition with Apple and Salesforce. So obviously there's a lot around sort of like voice, like voice recordings and things like that.
Yeah.
As well.
It's just about niching out your skills.
Yes, exactly. So that's one thing. So when we speak to clients very often, is they like a candidate who knows what they want, if that makes sense. Niching down into an area, but not necessarily pigeonholing themselves. So again, we'll just touch on the Marketing Cloud side. Obviously, because Marketing Cloud was pushed quite heavily, actually everyone was then, okay, well, I'll get my Marketing Cloud cert, and I'll just try and specifically focus on Marketing Cloud. People with Marketing Cloud experience, then when a lot of people, you might be surprised, literally just pigeonholed themselves into that. What we're saying, and what our clients have said, is actually really good to, if you are going to niche down, which we recommend, not necessarily Marketing Cloud, but marketing automation, okay? Not just one product, but variable amounts of different products within that space. Again, with CPQ, Salesforce CPQ, Calendars Cloud, Aptus, sure, look, we all know, and don't shoot me for saying this, that Salesforce isn't always the solution to a problem, all right? Sometimes there are other products that can be best suited for your business or for your customer rather than the Salesforce product. So actually being able to understand different products and how that can help means that you can add more value. Your knowledge is there. and then you're more credible and understood. Again, when other products come out, learn them. We're not saying, it's hard to keep on top of everything. Don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? But in your specialism, always be looking for the next thing and learn around that.
It's about being adaptable, isn't it? If you can have a look at other products, then when you do go into a company, you can actually influence the stakeholders, influence their decisions around the technologies that you've chosen because you've evaluated some. So you're bringing more worth to it.
Exactly. And also clients can see it that someone's actually being proactive. They're actually, this person is keeping an eye out on the market. You know, they are more attractive. Cool, right then. Certifications versus experience. This is an interesting one. We were very tongue-tied for quite a while trying to present this, so please bear with us, all right? So, look, where I would like to start with sort of the certification side is at the start of someone's career. So, with a lot of candidates that I've spoken to, okay, they want to get into Salesforce. Now, a certification is a fantastic way to do that. So, Trailhead and Trailblazer and certifications are a fantastic way. It shows proactiveness, investment in yourself, and proactiveness to clients that when they are recruiting for a junior person, it gets your foot in the door. There are other candidates that I speak to that have just really acquired responsibility of Salesforce in an end user, more accidental. So the accidental admins in the world. So this is where certifications can definitely help with your theory knowledge, so you know that what you're doing is actually the correct way, the best behaviours in which you want to work with Salesforce. Then we go on to sort of like the mid-level experienced people. So again, you may not have to be in Salesforce, but if you're like a BA or a developer, do it in your certifications to then move into the Salesforce industry is fantastic. That then again shows your proactiveness, your willingness to learn and get into the market. With you being in Salesforce and having Salesforce experience already, it can definitely, having certifications, definitely sort of backs up and complements your experience as well. And then moving on to the senior end of the market, look, if you want to become a CTA, let's say, for example, you have to do your certifications to get to that pinnacle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So then, with regards to the certifications, we've had many discussions with our customers. So we deal with end users, we deal with consultancies. From an end user perspective, the feedback that we've had, especially if they're doing like new implementations, they're not the experts in Salesforce. So they see it as Salesforce have accredited you, they've stamped you off, they've said you can do what you said that you can do on your CV. So they're amazing for that, to show actually I've got the baseline skills, I've harnessed them a little bit further, and Salesforce have accredited me. So they feel confident in your ability to do the job, so it is important, but they will also look at your experience. So what projects have you actually worked on to put that theory into practical? With regards to them then certifications, they'll probably continue to certify you, providing it's going down a specialist route. So if they're looking to implement something and it's going to add value to their business and their project, they probably will let you and enable you and want to help you to get certified down that route because it's going to help on their project. Then if we look at the consultancies, generally speaking, people from consultancies will have a range of certifications. They might specialise down in one area, but a lot of the time to begin with, you'll get your Sales Cloud, you'll get your Service Cloud, you'll get other different certs at different levels so that you can go on a range of projects for their customers. It also helps increase their partnership status, which means that they'll get more exciting projects and potentially bigger customers that you can work on. So you'll get that overall, and then obviously you can niche down and go up further through the ranks in that way. So they're really big on certifications within consultancies, because sometimes you will be sat on the bench. So it is good to upskill and learn your knowledge. Our key bit of feedback from our customers that we've been getting this year is with regards to certifications, they're amazing, but they shouldn't be the dictating factor of what salary you command. So we do have some people that have raced to get all of the certifications and then expect to get paid the same as someone who's got the relevant practical experience because they've got their certifications. Now, it's just not the right way. They should complement. Or if you haven't got the experience, it shows that you've got the interest to go and do it. So whilst you might not get paid the same amount as someone who's done the practical, You will eventually when you've got the practical. So they're not in place. They should complement and go hand in hand. We really wanted to get that message across because they're actually both as important as each other, but that salary commanding just because of the certifications is becoming a little bit of an issue in the market with regards to the feedback with our customers. So we wanted to be transparent because if you do get paid a high salary or day rate, the expectation on you is a lot higher, which means you actually put yourself under the spotlight a lot more if you do that. Cool. Hopefully that all makes sense.
Yeah.
I know it was a lot. We've got the fun stuff now.
Right then, cool. So obviously making your CV and your application stand out. Now people think that a CV and their application are the same thing. I don't think it is, okay? CV, these are the fundamentals. So you have your personal statement, your skills attributes, education, experience, your references and your hobbies and interests. Now, everyone has a CV, everyone sends it across to us. We see 100 a day, all right? But making your application stand out is tailoring it to your approach. So every time you go for a different role or a different job, okay, you need to understand exactly what that job entails and what that company does. Now, the reason why you need to do that is because that's what your CV should highlight. Your skills and your experience and your projects that you've worked on should highlight and well, just highlight in regards to the role that you're going for, all right? So, and then if you go for, say, like a different role, it should have different, highlight different aspects of your role. I'm not saying that you have to lie in your CV, all right? And say, oh, I've done this and I've done that. It's not like that at all. It's just highlighting the relevant points to that job. So every time you do apply, really make sure you understand the company, you understand the culture, you know what the role and responsibilities are, so you can best sell yourself to that opportunity. Make your CV current. Now, I'll hold my hands up, right? A couple of times I've ever applied for a role, I just get my old CV, I type up what I did on my current role, and I send it out. That doesn't look sexy, all right? It really doesn't. Always think when you are looking for your next role, again, tailor what you've done now, but also what you've done previously to match that opportunity. All right, because yeah, your old CV may have applied to the role that you're in now, but you've got another 2-3 years experience moving on, moving up in your career, that actually the attributes and what you've learned is then different. The different attributes then sort of is more relevant for the roles that you're going for. Does that make sense? Cool. Formatting. No, go back. Formatting. Right. On average, managers will look at your CV for 6 seconds and decide whether they want to read it or not, okay? Now, I try and format some CVs as best as possible, but sometimes it can be a bit of a nightmare. So, look, make it look clean, make it look easy to read, don't have loads of boxes, okay? A couple of other don'ts, don't put your picture on there. You don't really need to put your picture on there, all right? I promise you. Everyone's got LinkedIn, go on.
I have a question for you. Touchy subject.
Oh.
But I've got an Indian first name.
Yeah?
I know some recruiters, end users do discriminate. In my case, would it be worth my picture? Would it affect my...
No. Should never do that. Okay. Ever. You should never do that. I promise you now.
I've got an Asian surname and it's never affected me.
Danielle Ahmed.
So I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Definitely not.
Should we just answer any more questions at the end?
Yeah.
Because I think we've only got a couple minutes left.
Oh, right, okay. Cool. Format and highlight, yeah, perfect.
Sound. Cool. So this leads us on to, we'll quickly summarise how we try and make you stand out if we work with you as agencies and how you can get your other agencies to help you stand out.
Yeah, which may help you working with a recruiter. So look, number one thing, we'll look through your CV. We want to make your CV look as sexy as possible. So when it's put in front of the employer, they look, this looks well. At least we want to read it for more than 6 seconds. What we like to do is really understand. So go into the first, understanding your motivations and experience. If we can understand your motivations and experience and what you're looking for in your next role, we can best represent you and bring you the best jobs. Okay, because it is a minefield. There's a lot of Salesforce opportunities out there, but finding the right one, it can be difficult. Meeting face-to-face, look, we always like to meet our candidates, whether it be VC or whether it be face-to-face. You want a recruiter that you can trust, or you want someone to represent you. If you do want, if you do want to use a recruiter, if you don't want to use a recruiter, absolutely fine. But you want to build that trust with someone And if you, grab a drink or a coffee, then you're going to build that rapport and that trust a lot more than someone just a name on the phone going, "Hi, I'm Callum. You all right? Do you fancy looking at a job?" Yeah, pretty much. Look, we can ask so on sort of the technical side, we can ask technical questions, get the references on that as well, to make sure that, look, technically you're sound, which obviously alleviates any concerns on the client side, and then taking professional references as well, which always helps.
Yeah. So with references, just want to get the elephant out of the room. When you do talk to agencies and they ask you your references, I know that a lot of people think, oh, it's just to get in with my line manager, it's not about me. Genuinely right now, I've seen so many cases where references have been the difference between someone getting the job and not getting the job on both contract and perm. Now, the reason why is if we send over your references, if you're an accredited professional for us, your reference goes before your CV because it's specifically highlighting why you should be good for that job. So it will naturally increase your chance of getting an interview. If at the end of the process, it's between you and another candidate and there's nothing to draw between you and the manager can't decide, well, if there's a reference, it might be the tipping point. It can speed up processes on contract. Sometimes if you've got a good reference, you won't even need to interview. That's more contract specific. And from a client perspective, it's a third party that isn't the agency and isn't the candidate that's confirming that that person can do what they say that they're going to do.
It's not a recruiter going, this person could do the job.
Concerns. It's just something that's beneficial, but I'm not saying you have to. If you build trust with someone and you want to work with them in that way, then I would definitely advise in doing that. And you can always ask for a copy so that that person isn't getting bombarded and constantly called. But this isn't something that you have to do, but it's something that I would recommend.
If you build trust with someone, I would only do it with a recruiter that I built trust with. I wouldn't send my references out to all agencies that can get me a sales job. It would be the case. Making your LinkedIn profile stand out, so we could do like another half hour, 40 minutes on a LinkedIn profile. But just on the key highlights, look, we are professional. You want to get yourself across as professional, but make it tailored. Look, the Salesforce ecosystem is the most friendly ecosystem I've ever been a part of, even as a recruiter. Do you know what I mean? So look, get you and your personality over in your LinkedIn profile. Hobbies, interests, what you like to do. So show your personality. Get involved. So that's me with Salesforce Ben at one of our meetups. Getting involved is, look, being really active on LinkedIn, creating discussions, joining groups. If you can, blogs, articles. Look, I'm absolutely terrified of doing a blog. I'm doing my first one next month. But really getting yourself out there, that is what makes you stand out. Everyone has a LinkedIn profile, but actually going above and beyond when a client, which will always look at your LinkedIn profile, if you can go above and beyond, that's where you do stand out. And always have a picture. It looks a bit weird if you don't have a photo.
It could be a picture of your dog if you want it.
Yeah.
And then interview preparation and tips. So with regards to interviews, obviously we get given so much feedback, but I would just say preparation is key. So look at where they are. How are you going to get there? Make sure you allow yourself enough time. But also look at the company. Have a look at the person on LinkedIn who you're going to be interviewing with. Have you got any mutual connections? Can you find any common ground? Did you go to the same university? What's going on with that company? Are they in the news? So that then you can actually understand them as a business and, again, build that common ground. It puts the barriers down straight away in an interview. And then just when you are in an interview, be really clear and concise with your answers. Think the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. What did you actually do? And talk about you, not we.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go into the default of we, but employers want to know what your role was.
And just before you click to the next slide,
questions.
always go in with a list of questions that you need answered, okay? They're not, in your interview, they're not going to cover everything that you need in order to understand whether that job is right for you or not. So always write down a list of questions that you need to know before you do leave, especially business, commercial related questions.
Yeah. And know your value.
We could do another 45 minutes on this. Look, just to touch on it, we can, if you want this, we can happily just connect with us on LinkedIn or drop us an email. We can happily get this across to you, or if you want to take photos, not a problem. But look, that's what we've seen. This is a range of the placements that we've done, the jobs that we've added, and the conversations in the market in regards to our candidates and our clients, what they're willing to pay and what people are looking for.
Cool.
Just fitted all that in.
Yes, just about.
That was horrible.
We might have slightly overrun.
No, I've got 1 minute left.
Oh,
Right,
have we?
Q&A.
Any questions?
None?
No.
What CV out of all the hundreds you've seen do you remember the most?
Repeat the question back, please.
Oh, so
The one CV?
the one CV that we remember the most.
I know one, and it was a guy who owns a camel, and he put his picture of his camel on his CV, and I said, can I take your camel off your CV because I don't think it's very professional. And he said he DP removed himself from our database and took it offensively. There you are. So that's probably the one I remember the most. You got a better one than that?
No.
No, I don't think you would.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Yes.
How many pages do you think
We
a
were gonna
CV
touch on
should
that.
be?
I would say on a permanent basis, I would say 3. It can touch 4, but I would say 3 is the right amount. I mean, what we're going to do and what we've had discussions with, we are going to go to a couple of user groups and actually talk through around formatting your CV and things like that. So we will get that out and we can definitely discuss it because I know that is a point where we go through 10 pages because you want to cover everything that you've done in detail to then short, concise, get to the point. But on perm, I'd say like 3, maybe 4, depending on how many years experience you have.
CV should be leaving people wanting more, wanting to hear more, meet you to find out more.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all we've got time for.
Boom. Right, grab us after. So thank you very much.